Welcome football fans, ladies, gentlemen, and jabronis. It's Mitch here with your NFL Week 11 straight up picks and spread picks. Every game, every matchup, a breakdown of the X's and O's, a breakdown of the storylines, a breakdown of what's going to go down on Thursday, Sunday, and Monday. It's week 11. Last week, we were 10-4 straight up, and I believe 7-7 versus the spread. There is one or maybe two of you jabronis who keeps asking me for an updated version of my record. Some of you have this fetish when it comes to my record. I don't know what it is, but that was my last week's record. Overall, we're sitting somewhere around 96 and 55 straight up. Spread-wise, I got to do the calculations. We are below 500 on the season. We haven't done very well against the spread this year. Overall, collectively. Our bets haven't done bad. But I think we're 64 and 72 picking every game against the spread, which is probably the worst I've ever done in the history of this channel against the spread. I think you could go back every single season that I've been doing picks, and I've been doing picks on this channel since about 2016. It's been a long time. It's been a tough season. But I do believe if you take out the historically bad week 3, where we were 1-15 against the spread, we are above 500. So if you take out week 3, we've actually been pretty good. So that's that. Some of you have a weird fetish with my record. I hope that satisfied your craving. Welcome to everyone watching this video. I love all of you. Gronk, spike the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, jabroni. Before we do get started, I have something very special that I want to share with you guys. At least I think it's very special. I don't know what you guys think, but I think it's very special, okay? In the description, and if you're watching this after it's gone up on YouTube, after it's live, it will be in the pinned comment, but it's definitely in the description. Thursday Night Football, we have the New York Jets and the New England Patriots. The Patriots are favored by 13. We have a fantasy picks contest going down once again for the Patriots game this week, but it's a little bit different. So if you follow the link, you will be, and I'm going to show my screen in a second. You can enter, and all you have to do is enter a $1 parlay. $1, and you have a chance to win $5,000, guys. $5K. All you have to do is put together $1 of a parlay, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to pick some winners for you right now. But it's a pretty good deal, if you ask me, okay? And I think it's pretty fun. We're going to be watching Pats Jets. Might as well play along with me. So let's show my screen and let's go over this sweet deal here. So follow the link. You will see once you scroll down a little bit. Jets versus Patriots Pick'em. Hosted by TheBottomLineView, which is yours truly, Money Mitch, okay? Enter the competition. You enter the competition, and what comes up is some options for your Pick'em. Now, on the screen here, I have some options that I like. And we're going to go through each pick. And I'll explain why. Now, you can choose both of these if you want. Drake May more than 250 passing yards and Drake May more than 280 pass and rushing yards if you want. Or you could just choose one. If you think he's going to get it done just through the air, you could do 250. If you think he's going to run a little bit, you could do both. Why not just put both in your parlay? I don't know. Drake May ran the ball well against the Jets last year. The Jets like to play man coverage, turn their head. Drake May could take off, get 20, 30 yards in this game. Might help your total yardage in this game. But I think this is a coming out party on Thursday night for the MVP, Drake May. I think this is the Patriots in prime time showing the world what they are. And that is not only the New York Jets' daddy, but also a legitimate Super Bowl contender, and they're going to showcase their MVP quarterback. I think Drake May will throw 300 yards in this game. That's going to be a prediction. Drake May will toss 300 yards in this game and go bananas. So I'm including Drake May in my parlay. Mason Taylor to catch more than 5 receptions is the next option. I just don't know if Mason Taylor can catch 5 passes in any game. So I'm going to take the under. The Patriots have been weak against tight ends. Dalton Kincaid, Cade Otton, they've struggled a little bit with that position. And Garrett Wilson's out. I understand. Someone needs to catch the ball. But is Mason Taylor good enough as a rookie for me to consider 6 catches in a game? I just don't think so. They kind of messed up the Hunter Henry receiving yards thing, so I'm just going to leave that alone. Drake May more than 30 pass attempts. You could include that if you want correlation towards the yards. That would make sense. At the same time, I don't know if Drake May's going to have to throw the ball 30 times in this game, which is maybe why you want to lean towards the passing plus rushing yards rather than just the passing yards. Stephon Diggs, who they spelled his name wrong, but we'll get that fixed, will have more than 60 receiving yards. I think he probably will. I didn't include it here, but I think he probably will. Diggs has been on fire. Diggs comes to play in prime time. Diggs is the man. Diggs is the myth. Diggs is the legend. He's the leader of the team. He's going to show out on prime time. But Mac Hollins has been a dog, so I actually prefer Mac Hollins over Stephon Diggs if I were to choose one. And then Breece Hall, I'm going to take under 60 rushing yards because nobody's done that against the Patriots this year yet, so I can't say he's going to do it. Not even Sean Tucker, the great Sean Tucker, could get it done. So once you've chose 2 to 6 options, predictions at the top, as it says here, you can go to view your entry. You can enter $1 to $20, guys. $1 can win you $20. $20 can win you $400. You can also flex to where if you want, okay, I don't think all 5 of these are going to hit, but I think 4 will hit pretty confidently. That's where you hit the flex button. You can win 200 if you put 20 in there. But remember, guys, all you have to do is enter. All you have to do is join. Okay? All you have to do is join, which I'm going to do right now. And you have a chance for $5,000 in the contest. So check that out, guys. Check it out. All right. We're going to move on now to our picks. And let's get it done. It's time for some Week 11 picks. Larry is in the chat. Caesar is in the chat. Bob is in the chat. Marcus is in the chat. Robert's in the chat. Marcus. John is in the chat. Is it John or Gene? What's up, man? Thank you guys for joining. Okay. The New York Jets at the New England Patriots. Patriots are favored by 13. I think New England, as I already described, is going to have a coming out party on Thursday night. I just simply cannot see how the Jets, who might be the worst team in football, go to New England on a short week with a bad coaching staff and competitively play against the Patriots. Everything the Jets want to do, the Patriots thrive against. Drake May is great against the blitz. Drake May is great against man coverage. The Jets want to run the ball. The Patriots are the best run defense in football. The Jets don't have Garrett Wilson. They don't have any receivers. Arian Smith, Adonai Mitchell, Mason Taylor. They don't scare me, bro. Justin Fields completed 50 yards passing against the Browns. 42 of them came on a screen. You force this guy to throw the ball. Patriots are going to get some turnovers, some sacks, some big plays from the defense. As long as you don't allow them to kick and punt return on you, you should be fine. I honestly don't know how the Jets score 17 points. I think they're scoring around 10 to 14 points in this game. On the other side, again, I love how the Patriots offense is playing. I feel like the run game is getting more explosive with every week, the more that Travion gets the ball. I'm loving the chemistry between May and his receivers, specifically Mac Hollins and Stephon Diggs. And the offensive line is playing well. I think the Patriots absolutely smoke the Jets in this game. They do. So I will take New England. I'm not worried about any aspect, to be honest. I've been money on Thursday night this year. I have not been great overall in my picks, but I'm not even sure I picked one Thursday night game wrong other than possibly the Eagles-Giants game where the Giants beat the Eagles outright. Other than that, I think I've pretty much been humming. Last week we said Raiders could win the game against Denver. Pretty damn close. 49ers, Rams, I warned you guys about that one. This is not a potential upset scenario. There is no scenario where the Jets win this game. I am that confident. Take the Patriots minus 13. Next, in Madrid, the Commanders at the Dolphins. Miami is minus 2.5. I like Miami quite a bit in this game. I feel like Miami is playing much better football. They're in much better form. They're in much better spirits. The Commanders have not been the same offense without Terry McLaurin. Never mind Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin. And the reason for that is they have no vertical dimension to their offense, and they won't against the Dolphins. There is nobody that scares defenses on the football field without Terry McLaurin. Think about it. Zach Ertz is slow. Debo looks like he's running in quicksand. The run game is what they need to do to be successful. Well, Miami just faced a running quarterback and a great run game in Buffalo who throw a bunch of screens. That's exactly what the Commanders do. They just do it better. So the Dolphins will be prepared. The Dolphins, I like how their young defensive backs are playing. I like how Minka and Jordan Brooks are playing. I think that Bradley Chubb has only been better since he's gotten a little healthier. Looks like Chop Robinson will be back. Rasul Douglas could be back. The Commanders defensively are very slow. No lateral speed at linebacker. Think about what Miami wants to do on offense. Motions, right? Outside zone runs, okay? Jalen Waddle speed, Devon Achane speed, Malik Washington, screens. Miami is all about speed, and the Commanders are old and slow, and they can't cover this team. So Mike McDaniel is coaching well. He's inspiring his team to play for him to keep his job in Miami, and Dan Quinn might be on the hot seat. I think the Commanders are lost. I think the Dolphins are inspired, and you've got to watch out for the Madrid parties. But I do believe that Miami has to deal with that on a regular basis. They'll be better prepared. I think Miami wins. And we're singing the Dolphins. Bro, what is with this mute? Stop it! Damn it, mute! Okay. Hopefully it wasn't that long. The Houston Texans are 4-5. They need this game. They desperately need this game if they have any chance to make the playoffs. But something about this game scares me. It's a divisional game. It's in Tennessee. The Texans still have their backup, or very likely have their backup, Davis Mills. That being said, at the same time, Tennessee is horrific at covering spreads, and they're almost an automatic fade. You can't really put faith in Tennessee in any way, shape, or form to cover anything. They are getting a tad healthier. Calvin Ridley has been seen at practice. Arden Key has been seen at practice. But Zeitler, Woods, Simmons, still potentially out for this team. Jeffrey Simmons, big one. For the Texans, I think Jalen Petrie might still be out. Their safety nickel hybrid. Danico Autry not practicing. Dalton Schultz not practicing. CJ Stroud, of course. The Texans, though, are so good on defense that they could probably win an extremely ugly game. They could probably win this game 14-10 if they need to. I like how Woody Marks is running the ball. I like how the offensive line in Houston has been playing. I like the fact that Titus Howard could be back for Houston, and maybe they could use him at guard instead of tackle. Maybe keep Trent Brown at right tackle. I don't know. We'll see what they do. I think Nick Caley's done a good job. I love how Nico Collins played last week. I think that will translate to Tennessee. I like his chemistry with Davis Mills. I have more belief in this Texans offense now than I did a few weeks back. I think it's been humming a little bit better. Cam Ward hasn't looked great all year. I don't think the Titans really have a great ground game to give the Texans fits. I think the Texans' corner should be able to stifle Tennessee's weapons. And their pass rush should be able to probably pick up a couple sacks and maybe a couple turnovers. I've got to go with the Texans because I can never, ever, 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 ever pick the Titans to cover anything. But it's a divisional game with your backup quarterback on the road with the team coming off the bye week. Maybe rested, maybe more prepared. But it's Mike McCoy. It's not exactly prime Bill Walsh. So, I will take Houston. But I don't really think I'm going to bet it. Next, Chicago at Skull, the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota, -3. I see all of you jabronis not liking the video right now. I don't know what you're doing. You're sitting on your hands. Like the video, man. All right. I love the Minnesota Vikings in this game. I love the Minnesota Vikings. Chicago is probably the most overrated team we have in the NFL in terms of record. The Vikings are a better team, and they have a much worse record. The Vikings beat the Bears in week 1 in comeback fashion in Chicago on Monday night. They will sweep Chicago -3 at home. Jonathan Grenard's injury does concern me. He is the Vikings' best defensive end and maybe their best defensive player. But Andrew Van Ginkel is playing, so that's fine. Chicago has a lot of injuries, and their defense is maybe not considered in terms of the worst, but they truly are. A lot of people think of the Bengals. A lot of people think of the Cowboys. They might throw in the Commanders with their current state of defense. The Bears are in that category of how bad their defense is. And they have a lot of injuries. Jaquan Brisker and Kevin Byard did not participate today. TJ Edwards, their linebacker, did not participate. Grady Jarrett did not participate. Multiple receivers, DJ Moore, Roma Dunze. Tyreek Stevenson also at corner. Now, some of that may be rest related, specifically offensively, but defensively, they have a lot of injuries. And their secondary has been putrid. Their run defense has been bad. Their pass rush is non-existent. The Bears only thrive off turnovers from a defensive perspective. The Vikings are at home, one of my most respected home fields in the league. Brian Flores against Caleb Williams is a mismatch because everything Caleb does well is basically what Brian Flores can respond to. Everything that Caleb does poorly, I think Brian Flores can expose. His indecision, his inability to process quickly, his inability to always find the right option to throw to and throw it accurately, specifically down the field. And I think the second time around, I think Flores is going to have even more answers, specifically at home where he has the crowd advantage, the dome advantage, and the offensive line of Chicago is going to have to communicate more, things like that. The Vikings have also been much better against the run lately, against the Ravens and the Lions. They struggled a little bit earlier in the year. Chicago's been running the ball on really bad defenses. And you guys think about who Chicago's been playing. Like, pull up their schedule. Who have they played lately in terms of defenses that they look so good on offense, right? They played the Giants. Not a good defense. They came back, barely won that game. The Bengals. We know how bad they are. They got smoked by the Ravens. Okay? They played the Saints, a terrible defense. The Commanders, a terrible defense. The Raiders, a terrible defense. The Cowboys, a terrible defense. The Vikings are actually, truthfully, the best defense they've played. And they've played in a while. The Vikings, I think, can run the ball, which gives J.J. McCarthy some more balance. You look at the Bears' secondary injuries, I think Jefferson and Addison and Naylor can thrive in this matchup, specifically at home without Weather dealing with that in Chicago. So between Brian Flores' game plan against Caleb and the Vikings' weaponry thriving against a bad Bears defense, I think this is a prime Viking spot for a bounce back. I think the Vikings looked a lot worse than people. You know, a lot of people think they look really bad because they played the Ravens, is what I'm trying to say. I think the Ravens are good. I don't think the Bears are good. So, give me the Vikings -3. I think they win. I think they cover at home. Next, the Cincinnati Bengals at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh, -5.5. Pittsburgh has some key injuries in this game, and I think the most notable is missing Darius Slay. The reason I bring that up is Darius Slay has been one of their perimeter corners along with Joey Porter Jr. The reason the Steelers have gotten a little bit better on defense is because they've shifted to more zone coverage and they've put Jalen Ramsey at safety. But without Darius Slay, can they do that? Do they have to move Jalen Ramsey back to the corner position? And if they don't, you're just asking Jamar Chase and T. Higgins to thrive, right? The Bengals are coming off of a bye week. The Bengals should be inspired by the fact Joe Burrow wants to come back and play. Joe Flacco's been playing really well. He has a lot of chemistry right now with this offense, and through a bye week should have only more installed in terms of what he can do in this offense and what he wants to do in this offense, right? Putting the control in his hands, right? And then I thought they ran the ball against the Steelers well. Basically, fundamentally, I think the Steelers will not get swept by the Bengals this year. I just can't imagine it. The Bengals defense is the worst defense consistently in the league. Trey Hendrickson is likely out of this game again. And the Steelers looked absolutely putrid on Sunday night. A lot of the times with Mike Tomlin, his team tends to bounce back after they play poorly. I think they will do that in this game. But I still think the Bengals will hang around. I don't think the Steelers deserve to be 5.5-point favorites versus very many teams, specifically an offense with as explosive of options as the Bengals do have. Last game was very tight. The Bengals found a way to win on a short week at home. This week they're coming off the bye, but I don't know if the bye helps their defense. They're that bad. The Steelers should be able to run. The last time we saw the Steelers against the Bengals, Aaron Rodgers looked like prime MVP version of himself. He looked horrible against the Chargers, like he took way too much ayahuasca. I do think that the Steelers win. Simply put, they're not going to get swept by the Bengals, who have an awful defense. But it wouldn't shock me if the Bengals were within a field goal the entire game. So I'm going to take the points. I will take the Steelers to win, though. I can't trust the Bengals to sweep the Steelers this year. I'm sorry. Next, the Chargers. At the Jacksonville Jags. I am going to go against all fundamentals and take the Chargers. The Jags are at home, an East Coast team against a West Coast team. Jacksonville lost a divisional game in which they had every chance to win last week. They need this one desperately, but I simply can't trust the Jags. I can't trust Trevor Lawrence compared to Justin Herbert. I can't trust Liam Cohen against Jim Harbaugh. I can't trust this defense in Jacksonville, which right now allowed 30 or near it to the Houston Texans with Davis Mills, who can't score points, and nearly 30 to the Raiders and Geno Smith, who look like a CFL offense on Thursday night. So Jacksonville's defense looks putrid. Jordan Lewis, still not practicing, who might be their best defensive back. Parker Washington also is not practicing, and he's played really well for them. Anton Harrison, one of their starting tackles, not practicing. Maybe Brenton Strange returns. He's limited. Brian Thomas could return. He's limited. That would be pretty big. But the Chargers, I thought, were more impressive offensively against Pittsburgh than I thought they would be. Herbert is playing great. I love the Chargers' weaponry. I hate Jacksonville's secondary. I think it stinks. And really, the Chargers should be able to air the ball out and consistently move the ball through the air in this game. And Jacksonville does have a decent run offense, and that should give the Chargers some problems in that category. But I think the pass coverage and the passing game in general is so far in favor of the Chargers here. The Chargers have a very sound pass defense. The Chargers have a solid pass rush. The Chargers have really good receivers, a really good quarterback. I think Jacksonville's better in the run game, but I trust the Chargers passing game far more and the consistency of their quarterback. And I really like how the Chargers defense has been looking the last couple games, specifically last game. I think they go on the road. I think they win this game. The Chargers, I want to fade them because I don't like the state of their offensive line, but I'm not sure Jacksonville is the team to take advantage. I will take LA to win and LA to cover. Welcome, everybody, to the Pick Show. If you're just joining me, my name is Mitch. Some call me Money Mitch. If you're enjoying, Gronk, spike the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, jabroni. Let's continue to have some fun. We just talked Chargers, Jags. Reminder, check out the Fantasy Picks Parlay in the description. Play and have a chance to win $5,000 on Thursday night. All you got to do is enter a $1 parlay. Just, if you want to be safe, put $1 in there and have a good time on Thursday night. The Carolina Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons. If you're looking for my best bets, by the way, Big Al put the link in there. Money Mitch is the channel. That's where you get them. Carolina at Atlanta. Atlanta's favored by 3.5 at home. That's what I think of Atlanta. I like the Panthers. Plus 3.5. Now, will I take the Panthers to win is the question. Let's break it down. I think that this is a good matchup for Carolina in division. I think that they struggle more with the Saints than they do with the Falcons for key reasons. The Saints have a better run defense. The Falcons are really bad against the run right now, guys. They let Jonathan Taylor go for like 225 yards. Christian McCaffrey, he also went ham against these boys. The Panthers are all about the run. If the Panthers can run the ball, they can win the game. If they can't run the ball, they have no chance. They can't throw the ball for 200 yards against anyone. Anyone. So all they can do is run it and throw it every occasionally to Tetero and McMillan. But that's about it. Okay? The Falcons also have a lot of injuries. A lot. Jamal Agnew, their returner. Matthew Bergeron, their guard. Brandon Dorlus, D-tackle. Zach Harrison, D-tackle. Leonard Floyd, edge rusher. Chris Lindstrom, best guard on the team. Best guard maybe in the league. Not practicing. Drake London, I think he's sick, but he should play, but doesn't help. Sam Roberts, another D-tackle, didn't participate. So a lot of problems with their interior defensive line and interior offensive line. Now think about the matchup. Carolina wants to run the ball right up the middle. Carolina wants to get pass rush and run defense right up the middle. Derek Brown, right? And Bijan Robinson is the Atlanta Falcons. If the Falcons can't run the ball, their offense stagnates. Michael Penix is super inconsistent. His accuracy is atrocious. And I do think the Falcons, it favors them in the pass game on offense and defense. Maybe they come out in this game and they lost in embarrassing fashion to Carolina, 30-0 the last time they played. But I think there's good reason for that. I think it's because Carolina matches up well at the line of scrimmage. And I think Carolina is able to physically overwhelm them on offense. And they're able to get interior pass rush and able to stop the run. If J.C. Horn can hold up against Drake London, I feel like Carolina can pull off another win against the Falcons. This is one that I would take down to like Saturday, Sunday, see who's playing. Like, is Drake London good to go? Is Chris Lindstrom good to go? What's the practice report looking like? It really is going to depend on health. Atlanta probably shouldn't get swept here. Like, they probably shouldn't. They're too talented to get swept. And I kind of felt like they've played well against New England, and they played admirably against the Colts, and those are two of the best teams in the AFC. And the Panthers are not a good team. They just lost to the Saints. So I'm going to say the Falcons come through and win because the Panthers simply can't do enough throwing the ball. And I just can't see Carolina sweeping Atlanta. I just can't see it. But would I be surprised by a 20-17 win where the Falcons defense grinds it out? Not at all. I think that this 3.5 is too many points. In a flip the coin type game, I'm going to take the points, but I'm going to take Atlanta just because they are the better passing team, pass offense, pass defense. They're at home. They got embarrassed last time they played them. They've come off 2 tough losses. Season's kind of on the line. They kind of have to win this game. So I will take Atlanta to win, but I will take the Panthers to cover. Next, the Packers at the Giants. Jameis Winston, baby. Famous Jameis in the greatest city of the world. He's about to be surgical versus the Green Bay Packers. Now, I really badly want to pick Jameis Winston to pull off the upset. And given how the Packers are playing, I couldn't give less of a damn about Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love and this Packer team. What a disappointment. But this looks like a prime Packer spot to win and cover. The Giants' defense is not very good. If you can't run the ball against this run defense, you have real problems. And the Packers right now, low-key, kind of need to run the ball because Matt LaFleur doesn't trust their passing game. He doesn't trust their quarterback. And their weaponry is a little depleted. And he doesn't seem to know what to do with these weapons that he does have. Matthew Golden might be back, but I think the run game will open up everything for Green Bay on offense. I think it will open up the way they want to play. It will open up the play action shots down the field. It will open up the Packers style of offense, I believe. And defensively, Green Bay is playing as well as anybody. It's just that their offense can't produce, right? They played really well against Philadelphia. Jameis, he's going to inspire the team. The Giants are going to come out and play hard. They're going to be fun. But he'll probably toss some touchdowns. He's certainly going to test these corners on the outside. But do the Giants have any receivers for him to really throw to out there? They don't have the quarterback run game with Jameis like they did with Jackson Dart. They've got no Cam Scatterbo, no Malik Neighbors. It's a very depleted Giants offense. Brian Daboll's gone. Maybe they get the new coach boost, the Jameis vibe boost, Mr. Aura himself. I just think the Packers are too good up front on defense. They're going to get pressure. They're going to get sacks. They're going to force punts. They're going to force mistakes. Jameis is prone for a turnover or two. I think the Packers win. I think the Packers cover. I'd love to see the Giants win. I just don't believe it. The Packers are coming off a couple bad losses. They need to get redemption. They need to play better, and I think they will here. Next, Tampa at Buffalo. Great game. Great game. Buffalo is at home where it feels like they're nearly unbeatable unless they play the great Drake May. This is a game that I feel like if Buffalo's not careful, they very well could lose this one as well. And on paper, I think the Bucs are an extremely difficult matchup for Buffalo. The Bucs defensively are typically very good against the run, and they were against New England outside of 2 plays where they allowed multiple home run runs. If they can just find a way to not give up the home runs, they should be able to stalemate. They should be able to slow down James Cook. The Bucs have a really good secondary. They forced Drake May's toughest game in terms of completion percentage of the season, and the Bills are struggling to complete passes past a screen pass. So the Bills are going to create very minimal separation in this game, in my opinion, especially if the Bucs lean into more man coverage, lean into more blitzing. I think this is a game where Todd Bowles can trust his corners on the outside and get after Josh Allen. I really think they can. I also think the Bucs are usually typically good at defending screens and things because they typically have so many players in the box. And a lot of their players are really good at tackling, like Levante David, Antoine Winfield, etc. I think the Bucs defense is going to come to play in this game. Hassan Reddick probably still out. Ben Bredesen, their left guard for Tampa, is probably out. He left the game last week. For Buffalo, they could get AJ Epinesa back. That would be nice for their rotation. It does seem like they're getting healthier on defense for this game. Offensively, though, Dalton Kincaid likely will miss, and Dalton Kincaid would be a key ingredient to this offense. He's probably their most talented pass catcher. Josh Palmer, though, full participant. I've been talking about Josh Palmer for weeks. The Bills need Josh Palmer because Keon Coleman is absolute ass cheek. They need Josh Palmer. They do. The Bills defensively like to play a lot of zone, and they like to rush 4 a lot. They'll occasionally blitz. Their edge rushers are good, but the Bucs do have Wirfs, and they got Gedeke back at right tackle, which should help their tackle position and should help against Rousseau and Boza. Baker's good against zone this year and kind of struggles more against man because of the lack of receiving weapons. Bucky Irving could be back for this game. He is limited. Chris Godwin, limited as well. Maybe Bucky plays. I don't know. But Emeka Ibuka looked healthy last week. This does kind of feel like Bills will win the game, like a last-minute drive sort of scenario. But I really like underdog Baker Mayfield with 5.5 points, with the matchups that their defense have, with the potential of a Bills run defense that hasn't been very good. You know, the Bucs can pose some balance here if Bucky is back. And I do think Baker can throw against these zone coverages. So I feel like the Bucs are going to hang in this game all day long. I don't think people truly realize how talented Tampa Bay's defense is. I think Tampa covers this game. I'm going to take Buffalo to win because they're at home and they've only lost one game at home in 2 years. I do think they'll get some explosive plays against Tampa because of the way Tampa plays. I do think the defense of Buffalo plays better at home. I do think there could be some cold weather for a Tampa team that's used to the opposite. And I do think that Josh Allen will ultimately come out on top. But I don't know, man. Tampa could easily win this game. That's all I'll say. So I like the 5.5 with the Bucs. But I think the Bills will bounce back and will win this game. Seattle at Los Angeles. Guys, if you haven't already, Gronk, spike the like button. It helps. And it's free. Put a smile on my face. Thank you. The Rams are favored by a field goal at home against the Sea Chickens. Seattle is coming off some big-time victories where they're looking like the juggernaut of the NFL. But as I've been asking, and seemingly nobody else has been asking, they asked us about the Patriots, but they don't ask us about the Seahawks. Who in the blue hell have the Seahawks beaten? I don't take the Cardinals serious. I don't take the Commanders serious. I don't even take the Steelers or Jags serious. And the only serious team Seattle has beaten is Tampa. The only teams they've played that are serious, they've lost to Tampa and San Francisco. Everyone else is a jabroni. Every last one of them. Just gonna say that. All right? The Rams, meanwhile, coming off some big wins. Hammered San Francisco's defense last week on the road. Now, that's not a huge feat. The 49ers defense is basically a practice squad. I'm not that impressed at this point. But the Rams, at least, should have beat the Eagles. They did beat the Colts. And the Rams right now probably have the MVP of the league. One of the most unstoppable receiving duos in football. Devontae Adams is banged up and questionable for this game. Throwing that out there. I do think this Rams defense is overrated, but I'm not sure Seattle is the type of offense that can take advantage, and allow me to explain in my terms. Seattle is a good offense, but they are not a surgical offense. They are a lot like the Packers. They like to run and set up their shots down the field. How many different crossing routes can JSN run for 25-yard gains, right? That's basically their offense. They're not like this Mac Jones 49ers where they throw the ball 7 yards every play. And the Rams, that's their weakness. You can take advantage of their linebackers. You can take advantage of their soft zone coverages because they want their pass rush to get home. That's how they play. Seattle, they want to shot play you to death. So can Sam Darnold be patient, hit his checkdowns, hit the underneath routes, and go on those 10, 12 play drives? That's the question I have about Seattle in this game, is testing the patience of the Kubiak offense and Sam Darnold. That is how you have to play against Darnold, in my opinion. And the Rams have a really good run defense. The Rams also have a really good rushing offense. The Rams have the advantage in the run game in terms of they have the stronger run game on offense, and they have a strong run defense. But Seattle has a very good run defense. I think at times they've had an up and down rushing offense. The Rams probably have more weapons, but can Shaheed step up here? Cooper Kupp revenge game here? Could that happen? Maybe. I don't know. Could the Seahawks unleash Kenneth Walker a little more here? Which pass rush will dominate? Seattle's is really good. The Rams is really good. I think the Rams have the better O-line. I think they have the savvier quarterback. The Rams are at home, but the Seahawks are really good on the road. This is a game that I wouldn't bet. This is a game that I would sit back, relax, and watch. Kobe Turner for the Rams didn't practice on Wednesday. That is humongous, figuratively and literally. But got to pay attention to that. Seattle could get Josh Jobe back this week, Ernest Jones back. They didn't play from my understanding last week, but they've been playing most of the year. It's just that they haven't played last game. So the Seahawks should be mostly healthy on both sides of the football. I just lean Rams because to me, the Rams are the best team in football. To me, they have the ultimate combination of, I think they can beat you with explosives on offense. They can beat you with success rate. They can beat you with surgicality. They can beat you with run, pass. They can beat you with multiple personnel packages. I think they have more creativity offensively from their play caller. I think their quarterback is better. I think that Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams is just a hint better than the Seahawks' weapons. And I think they have a more consistent run game. I also think the biggest factor for me is I need to see the surgicality from Seattle's offense. That's my biggest looming question about them. And I don't know if they can take advantage of the Rams defense the way that you need to be able to. And the only team that really has been able to is San Francisco. And that might just be because Kyle Shanahan is different. I don't know. But I'll take the Rams here. I just think they're a little bit better, and they are at home. But I wouldn't be shocked if the Seahawks won this game. The Seahawks defense is really, really good. I do think, though, if Seattle wins, it's because they're running the ball better than we expect. And they stop the run of the Rams. And they make the Rams completely one-dimensional. The Ravens at the Browns. Baltimore, -7.5 at Cleveland. Clara's in the chat. She says, hey, people. Hey, party people. Clara, join the fantasy picks. You can join and potentially win $5,000, Claire. Join up. 7.5 is the spread for B-More and Cleveland. I'm going to go with Baltimore to win, Cleveland to cover. Baltimore to win, Cleveland to cover. Cleveland is at home. Cleveland is really good at home. Cleveland's defense is really good at home. Cleveland beat the Ravens last year at home. I know it was with the great Aura, Mr. Aura himself, Jameis. And I don't trust Dylan Gabriel. I don't. I love him, but I don't trust him. I do think, though, can Cleveland run the ball in this game? The Ravens have had problems stopping the run. And I don't think they've been tested very much lately. So I want to see if the Browns can run the ball. Okay. I thought Cleveland's offense actually played pretty well against the Jets, not going to lie. Lamar didn't practice today, so obviously that's a huge factor. Lamar might also probably will play, but not be 100%. But I think Cleveland can slow down the Ravens' run game. I think they can get pressure. I think Denzel Ward can match up with Zay Flowers. I think the Ravens' offense has been good, but not great lately. And the dog pound is different. This is an AFC North rivalry matchup. I like the hook. I'm going to take 7.5 with Cleveland. I'll take the Ravens to win. For obvious reasons, as long as Lamar plays, Ravens should come out on top in Cleveland. Sarah, it's a random draw for the 5,000. So all you have to do is join. $1. You could join for $1. All you have to do is join $1. Okay? $1. That's it. All right. Kansas City Chiefs at the Denver Broncos. Chiefs are favored by 4 at Denver. This is a huge game for the AFC West. I think this will be a very defensive game. A very defensive game. I think this will be a game where Denver is going to get after Pat Mahomes. Denver's going to basically, they don't even have to worry about the run because Kansas City doesn't run the ball. So they're going to be screaming at Pat Mahomes all game. Now, Simmons has returned at left tackle. And one thing that worries me for Denver is no Pat Surtain in this game, most likely, which means in those key moments of 2-minute drills, third downs, who's covering Rashee Rice? How does Denver look to cover Rashee Rice? I think Denver has to get pressure here. Has to get pressure. I actually think Riley Moss can hang with Worthy. I don't think that's crazy. But Rice might be a problem. He might be a problem. Defensively, the Chiefs should be fine against Denver. Denver's offense sucks. They can't really do anything at a high level, but they've played the Chiefs really well. Last year, they beat the backups like 30-0. I know that. And then they also lost on a blocked field goal in Kansas City. That was the only game they played against each other, rookie Bo Nix and Pat Mahomes. And then the year previous, Russell Wilson's Sean Payton Broncos beat the Chiefs in Denver. Okay? Bo Nix has been horrible lately. He can't throw the ball accurately. He can't hit a deep ball. He looks at the line of scrimmage too much and the pass rush too much. Cortland Sutton usually plays really well against the Chiefs. I like how Franklin's playing. They need to be able to run it a little bit against this team. J.K. Dobbins is a bit beat up. Kansas City is pretty healthy. I think the Chiefs are probably going to win this game. I just think the no Pat Surtain. I think that the Chiefs, I don't trust Denver's offense, period. I just don't. I mean, you look at what they've done recently, they just have not been a good team. I mean, the Chiefs are coming off a bye. They're wicked off a bye. The Broncos do have 10 days rest, so it shortens the amount of advantage. But you look at the Broncos, guys, like 10-7 over the Raiders, 18-15 over Davis Mills. They beat the crap out of the Cowboys. That was a good win, but that's the Cowboys defense. They beat the Giants by 1 in comeback fashion. They beat the Jets by 2. Like, this is an ugly football team. They haven't played anyone recently. They've barely been surviving. Their offense is inept. Spags is going to be screaming at Bo Nix. I think the Chiefs win, but I'm going to take the points because this could be a game where it's like 16-13, 20-17, 21-17, 17-14. A lot of these games are low scoring. Like I can go through the Chiefs-Broncos games. Go through the Chiefs-Broncos history recently. The game last year, and I know that the Chiefs' offense is better than last year through the air, but they have no running game. So last year, I'm trying to scroll down, was 16-14 Kansas City. The game before that was 24-9 Denver. The game before that was 19-8 Kansas City. So these have been really low-scoring games. So I'm going to take the points. I would take the under in this game. But I'll take the Chiefs. Bye-week advantage. No Pat Surtain. I think it's too much to overcome if you're the Broncos. All right? Sarah, the link is in the description. And it's also the pinned comment. Sunday Night Football. The Detroit Lions at the Philadelphia Eagles. If you guys haven't already, like the video. Lions, Eagles. I like the under here too. But I'll take the Eagles in this game at home. Reasoning for it. I think this is a tough matchup for the Lions. 1 on the road at Philadelphia. Things that concern me about the Eagles in this game: the Eagles are playing on a short week after a really big game at Lambeau. So they have to go back home on a short week. I don't like that. And I also feel like the Eagles offense, it's just very hard to know what they're going to give on a weekly basis. And the Lions are a little bit better on offense, but let me explain why I like the Eagles. So from a defensive perspective, Vic Fangio has this defense playing a lot better. Jalen Phillips and Nolan Smith on the edges has brought a different level of pass rush for this team last week. Jalen Carter, I think, can completely dominate the Detroit interior offensive line, which has been their biggest weakness all year. If they want to, they can send Zach Bond on those blitzes that have been effective against Detroit on third down. I think Quinyon Mitchell is the perfect corner to erase Jamison Williams. And I feel like Cooper DeJean can hang with Amon-Ra in the slot position. The Lions have not been great running the ball this year, as great as you would think. And I think you kind of need to run the ball on the Eagles, but I don't think they're going to be able to run all over the Eagles. I don't. The Eagles have a really good interior D-line, and I think Phillips makes them a lot more stout against the run, as well as Nolan Smith. You got to get past big Jordan Davis as well. So I think it's going to be tough for Jared Goff. I think this is going to be a really tough game for the Lions offense. It's also in colder weather, outdoors, and Jared Goff typically struggles more outdoors on the road than he does in the dome in Detroit. On the other side, I just think it comes down to one-on-one matchups. And A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are better than the Lions corners, and the Lions like to play a lot of man-to-man, and I just don't think they can do that against the Eagles. That actually makes life a lot easier on Jalen Hurts, because Jalen Hurts, they don't have a very good offense. The Eagles' offensive scheme is not very surgical. It is not very precise. It is not very detailed. It's basically based on our players are better than yours, and I think Detroit completely plays into that style of play. I feel like on defense they do. I don't think the Lions' pass rush can dominate the Eagles' O-line as long as Lane Johnson plays. I think Saquon can hit a couple plays in this game, even if it's largely ineffective. Goddard's difficult to handle. Smith's difficult to handle. A.J. Brown, if you give them chances down the field, they're going to make some chances. They're going to win that slant on 3rd and 5. They're going to get open. And I just don't think the Lions can hang on that side. The Eagles, it comes down to, like, sometimes the Eagles just, they look inept on offense. But I think largely it's against teams that play a lot of zone, and it's forcing the Eagles to be surgical, to be detailed, to be calculated on offense, to move the ball on a, just every down basis, not just looking for explosives. But I think that the Lions' style is a little different. So I'm going to go with the Eagles here. I could see the Lions winning. I think if the Lions do win, it's because they run the ball better than I'm expecting. And they also are able to completely shut down Saquon and force Jalen Hurts into a lot of down and distances that are difficult. That is how you would beat the Eagles. Okay? It could happen, not ruling it out. But I think that on paper, I like the Eagles. We'll see, though. Monday night, Dallas at Vegas. I'm going to take the Cowboys. -3.5 here to win, obviously. Dallas should have a lot of reinforcements defensively this week. A lot. To the degree where they might even look like a different defense. Both their safeties should be healthy, Hooker and Wilson. They should have 2 new starting linebackers. And did I miss a game? Did I talk about one of the game? I might have to look up. Did I miss a game? I might have missed a game. Am I crazy? San Francisco, Arizona. Did I talk about that game? I might have to go back and look at that. But I like the Cowboys. Okay, so the Cowboys, overshown, should be back. Hasn't played all year. Logan Wilson, they traded for at the deadline. He's a professional linebacker. That will be a massive upgrade. And most importantly, Quinnen Williams. What Quinnen Williams will do for this D-line. You got Quinnen Williams, Kenny Clark, and a Diggy Zua at D tackle. They could move a Diggy Zua out to the edge position to help them against the run. They could have Kenny Clark and Quinnen inside to stop the run. And then on pass downs, you could have Quinnen and a Diggy Zua inside, take Kenny Clark off the field, and add Ezeraku and Dante Fowler. I think the D-line for Dallas is now going to be really, really good. And I think the Raiders have arguably a bottom 3 offensive line. They don't have any receivers. Brock Bowers should be able to make plays. I don't think Dallas can cover him. But that's the only guy that's worth mentioning. I mean, and Dallas on the other side, talk about threats. You've got CeeDee Lamb. You've got George Pickens rested off of a bye week against a pretty bad cornerback position for the Raiders and a pretty simple Raider defense that has a good but not great pass rush and a good but not great run defense. I think Dallas is classes better. If they get a average defensive performance, they should win this game by at least a touchdown. So I like Dallas here. Geno's also beat up, has no legs to stand on. I'm going to take Dak Prescott and the Cowboys and their improved defense to win this game. And it might even be a bit of a statement for maybe a run for the rest of the year for Dallas, because they do have an outside chance still at making the playoffs. I just kind of wish they would have upgraded their defense a little bit sooner, but it is what it is. Did I miss a game? How many games are there this week? 14? Maybe I didn't make a graphic. Hold on a second. Is there 15 games? Bro. Why? Huh? I literally have 15 graphics here. Oh, there's 15. Okay. Hold on, guys. We're going to do the 49ers. I can't believe I missed it. You know what? I actually have my other graphic from Money Mitch. I'll just use that. Hold on one second. We're not going to go without the 49ers. I was trying to avoid picking a 49er game when I don't know who's playing. You guys caught me. You guys caught me. Okay. Here we go. All right. 49ers at the Cardinals. Total is 48.5. Niners minus 2.5. And guys, if you didn't know, I pick every total as well on Money Mitch every week on every Wednesday. I was going to go with the Cardinals earlier in the week, but then I heard that Marvin Harrison Jr. is out, and I've switched my opinion to the Niners. I also think the Niners are getting reinforcements. Brock Purdy might play. Maybe. I'm not going to count on it, but Ricky Pearsall will play. And I think that makes a world of difference. The 49ers basically have a healthy offense now. Christian McCaffrey, other than Brandon Ayuk and probably Brock Purdy. Two pretty good players. But you've got Mac Jones, who I thought played great against the Rams last week. He played pretty well against the Cardinals the first game. I think he had over 280 yards. McCaffrey in the backfield. Last time they played the Cardinals, they didn't have Kittle. They didn't have Jennings. Kittle and Jennings look really good. They looked a lot healthier last week, and that's a big good sign. The Niners might have like a top 5 offense for the rest of the year. Something to think about, but their defense sucks. But the offense, McCaffrey, Kittle, Jennings, Pearsall, and Bourne, love that for them. The offense, a lot healthier. The Cardinals, very beat up. Very beat up. Especially on defense. If you look at the Cardinals, let's look at their injury report. The Cardinals' injury report might actually be worse than the 49ers, believe it or not, which might be the first time all season for an opponent of the 49ers. I don't know who posted that. It is so small, I can't even read it. Are you kidding me? Okay, so for the Cardinals, Baron Browning, concussion, did not practice. Marvin Harrison, not playing. Will Johnson did not practice, their best corner. Taylor Demerson, ankle, did not practice, their third safety. Jonah Williams, right tackle, did not practice. Mac Wilson, their best linebacker, did not practice. Okay? Walter Nolan might play. He's limited. McCaffrey and Williams rested today, so no concern. Alfred Collins also limited for the Niners. D. Winters limited. They're actually healthier now. Bryce Huff was back last week, so the defense is a little bit healthier. And I think I can break it down this way. I actually think Kyler is better against the Niners than Jacoby, because Kyler does give the Niners some problems sometimes with his mobility over the years. And Jacoby, I remember he did play against the Niners last year, and he was horrendous. I do remember that. He was for the Patriots. But I think his immobility, the fact that he is only in the pocket, I think that can allow Robert Saleh to send some heavy blitzes. And without Marvin Harrison, there isn't a lot of speed or vertical ability to the Cardinal offense, or even like downfield ability to just threaten the defense. So I think the Niners can be extra aggressive if they need to send extra people on defense. And it's not like the Cardinals have a great running game, so I don't think they're going to be able to run all over the Niners or anything like that. I think the Niners defense will look much improved this week, simply because they're playing a Cardinals offense that really only has Trey McBride. They really only have Trey McBride. Like, that's literally it. I'm not scared of Michael Wilson. I'm not scared of Zay Jones. I'm not scared of Greg Dortch. The Niners have a lot more firepower. The Niners seemingly are healthier, even if they're missing 4 Pro Bowlers. And it's in a dome. I don't really know if that hurts the Niners, given how explosive their offense could be. And that actually might help a guy like Mac Jones, because he doesn't have the strongest arm. I feel like I wanted to pick the Cardinals because it felt like they would kind of even up the series this week. But I just kind of feel like this is, like, with all the injuries and everything, I think the Niners are the side here. I think the Niners are the side. They get a big win for their wild card race. And Jacoby Brissett looked, just not mobile enough. He got hit multiple times, fumbled multiple times. If the Niners can make one of those plays, they might just win this game. So I'll take San Francisco as the final pick in this video, guys. That's it. That's all I have. Gronk spiked the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Appreciate all you guys. Don't forget to check out fantasy picks. Under 3, by the way, for the 49ers, I would take under 3. If it's like 3.5, I might lean towards the Cardinals. But 3 or under, I would take the Niners. Gene also says, okay, Mitch, I have to do this Grey Cup this weekend. Go Riders. Redemption for 09 and 10. I was upset that the BC Lions lost to the Riders. In that game, who do I think is going to win? Probably it's the Alouettes who they're playing, right? Montreal? I think they're playing. Montreal's been good this year, man. Montreal's defense is sick. But the Riders have been good too. I'll take Montreal, but I hope the Riders win for you, buddy. I hope they win. All right, guys. It's Mitch. Go check out Money Mitch. Tomorrow night, Thursday night, Pats, Jets. Also, more content coming. I think we're going to do head coach tiers soon. And we're also going to do playoff teams. I'm going to pick my playoff teams. Oh, and you want to know who I picked for the fantasy picks? Hold on a second, Claire. This was my entry. I'll show you. I'll tell you like a variation. So Drake May, yardage, I went over. You can take one or you can take both if you want. Mason Taylor, I went under 5 receptions. Breece Hall, I went under 60 yards. Matt Collins, I went more than 40 yards. Those were my picks. But you can do less if you want to be more conservative. You can only do up to 6. You have to pick at least 2. So there it is, guys. It's Mitch. Deuces.